Well, good morning, everybody, and a very warm welcome to Maharishi Putra and Dr. Biagi. There's a little aside here to the Maharishi Putra designation, which makes him a little uncomfortable, despite the fact of it. Was the other day I was grasping as to how I should describe him, because we've been using Dr. Bhavanani to secularize the teachings. He comes from a rich lineage of at least 8, 9 generations, and I don't mean father-son only, of a lineage that goes back that many generations, and has combined his work. This is for the few of you who weren't here yesterday, which was an amazing day, where sort of 8 hours of activity just rushed by, leaving us energized rather than exhausted. And then that followed a public event at the auditorium. So there was something very infectious about this. And so I was grasping as to how do I describe this man. And so I was thinking of Maharishi Yogi or whatever. It didn't quite sound right. And then his student, Dr. Biagi, is responsible, and she phrased it for me. And so we're hoping this will stick. Well, I really don't want to repeat an introduction, because 90% of you have been here before, so you're already familiar with Dr. Bhavanani, and I've heard so many expressions about disappointment and delight. Disappointment that we only have 3 more sessions, and there are already lists of signatures being put together to invite you again, not just to do something for the golden years, but the silver years. And then I don't know what, the bronze years don't sound sort of, as attractive. And so thank you very much, all of you, for being here. And I will just yield the stage to the master and his cheli. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rajiv ji. Thank you, Meenakshi ji. Thank you, the whole team at the foundation, and thank you to each and every one who's here today, back after a marvelous day yesterday. I had one of the best sleeps I've had in a long time, and I think all of your energies contributed towards that, because we are a social being, and in fact, the energy exchanges that happen between human beings is actually what makes life worth living. We'll begin this morning session on Yoga Chikitsa, lifestyle disorders, lifestyle and lifestyle disorders. But I would like to start by a short contemplation where we invoke, like we did yesterday, the beautiful energies of Swasth, because that is what we want. You heard me talk about pathogenesis and salatogenesis yesterday. I often feel we have 2 words that we use for health in Indian languages. One is arogya, the second is Swasth. And I feel that arogya is a pathogenic definition of wellness, and Swasth is a salutogenic definition of wellness. Because if you look at arogya, it is defining health as the absence of roga, arogya. Whereas Swasth doesn't talk about disease at all, it is talking about you being yourself. And so though both are beautiful terms and both are apt, we can see that we can find that pathogenesis, salatogenesis communication even in these terms. Now, in case you think I'm against pathogenesis, I am not, because it plays a role in saving lives in critical emergencies. And this is why for me salatogenesis is a big circle, And pathogenesis is one small part in cellulogenesis. So cellulogenesis includes pathogenesis, but pathogenesis neglects cellulogenesis. So I just want to be clear on that. So the beautiful Vedic mantra request you to align your spine as much as possible. Aligning the lower back, the middle, upper back, shoulders, neck and head. Grounding yourself into the present moment by focusing on the breath as it comes in and as it goes out. The universal becoming the individual on the inhalation, the individual becoming the universal on the exhalation. Bhadram karnebih Shriyama Bhadram Pashe Makshabhiryajatra Sthirairangai Tushtavagum Shashtanobihi Vyashemadhevahitam Yadhayu Swasti na Indro Vrittashravah Swasti na Pusha Vishwaveda Swasti na Taksho Varishtanemihi Swasti no Brahaspadir Dadatu Om Shanti 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 Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om. Gently rubbing your palms together, generating a nice warmth. Placing the warm palms over your eyes for a few seconds, letting that warmth of the prana flow from the hands into the eyes, connecting our perception and our action. Blinking into that semi-darkness, then slowly bringing your hands down to your lap in a comfortable position and opening your eyes up completely. The term Yoga Chikitsa is a term that implies a holistic, wholesome application of yoga for the sake of manifesting wellness, which is our highest potential. It is not just yoga therapy, but it is the application of the principles and practices of yoga towards helping people move from dukkha to sukha. This is what Yoga Chikitsa is. It understands we are not just one body. We are at least 5 levels of existence. We all have a physical existence. So I can count, yes, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I can count the number of humans in an embodied form by looking at the physical existence. Now there are many people here who we don't know because they are not embodied in a physical existence but are at other levels of existence. And there are a few more chairs here that you don't see. It is true. The rishis are constantly with us. The great seers are constantly with us because we are the descendants of this amazing cultural heritage. And when we talk about this heritage, they are there. It is said whenever the name of Rama is sung, Lord Hanuman is there. Similarly. But coming back, we all have a physical body, and yes, that body is governed by the laws of nature, which means initially there is growth and then there is degeneration. Anabolism followed by catabolism. Finito in Italian. Finished. But beyond that, we don't just have a body, we have a body that functions. It is functional. So we have a functional existence where if I say lift your hands, you can lift. If I say lower your hand, you can lower. You can decide to move or not to move, to be or not to be, to paraphrase Hamlet. You can choose. So there is a functional existence. So the structural existence, the physical existence, I call it the anatomical existence. The functional, I call it the physiological existence. So we have a brain. The brain is an anatomical existence. But when we use that brain and the neurons are firing, our physiological functional existence has come into play. You have a heart which has anatomy. When that heart has that physiological existence, which is sustained by prana, your heart can beat. So you have a heart which is a structure. This is called Annamaya Kosha. That heart can beat. It is the Pranamaya Kosha where now that heart is beating. Your brain neurons are firing. Your nephrons are excreting. It is the functional. It is called Pranamaya Kosha. But well, we have a lot of equipment which has structure. You put on the switch, electricity flows like prana flows into us. It functions. So are we just another machine? Well, I hope not. We have something called manas. And that is why this manas is both a blessing and a curse. Mana eva manushyanam bandha karana mokshate. This mind of ours both binds us and enables us to have liberation. So we are made into a human being by the presence of manas. That is why manushya, manav, the terms which imply a level of consciousness flowing through us, which is our psychological existence. So you have a heart that has 4 chambers. That heart can pump at the rate of 72 per minute. So you have Annamaya, you have Pranamaya. Does your heart reach out to others? Does your heart have feeling? You know, we talk to people, we say, do you have a heart? Heartless? Dil se aana chahiye. That is a new level. It is the manas. It is the psychological existence. Now, normally we think of mind, especially in modern science, we think of mind as just the brain. But if you look at Indian concept of manas, I was noticing Rajiv ji yesterday talking about the thoughts and consciousness, and his hand was going to his heart. Mm-hmm. We don't think of mind as being locked in your skull, which is very thick. We all have a hard skull. So we are a tough nut to crack, they say. Mind is not just the brain. You know, small kids, I remember as a kid doing it. You know, if there's a radio and you hear a voice, the kid will take the radio apart to find the person inside the radio because they think there's a person in the radio making that voice. Kids usually take things apart, especially naughty young boys like me. We used to do a lot of that. I remember my daughter, when she was a few years old, watching me on television, where I was giving an interview, and she was sitting next to me at home watching it, and you know, she was looking at me and looking at the television, looking at me, looking at the television, like how's he in 2 places at the same time? Because at that level of consciousness, we cannot conceive that, you know, there's not somebody inside the TV. Dr. Saab was part of Hum Log. I came to know thanks to Meenakshi ji. Now, it is not that you are in the TV, you are on the TV. You are not in the TV. But the problem is modern scientists are dissecting the brain, trying to find the mind inside it. We have forgotten the brain is the receiver. It is the transmitter of consciousness. Just like a fish lives in water, we live in mind. We live in consciousness. And there are certain parts of our nervous system that are excellent receptors that you can train to connect to this consciousness, which is the Akash. So when we say Manas, it is a big leap. But then, to a great extent, even our animals have a certain level of consciousness. It cannot be denied. And especially the more domesticated the animal is, the more it actually takes on what we could call a minimal level of consciousness, which could be similar to a very small baby. We find it. I think, if today you find dogs doing yoga, which is called doga, I think we at our ashram should take part of the blame. Because in our ashram, our dogs would always join the yoga class and be in every class. The moment my mantra class starts at 4:30, whether the students are there or not, my dog will be sitting there waiting for me to teach the Yoga Sutra. And often I say they are better students because they don't miss a single class. Amazing. So I love it. But we have to understand it is a certain layer and level of consciousness. Now, consciousness is good. But the basic level of consciousness does not have the power of choice. So Manas itself is only an instrument. Again, the yoga Vedantic perspective is Manas is also an instrument. It is not the highest thing. Because the Manas does not have the power of choice. It can just experience. It can just interact. But it cannot choose. So then what is it that gives us that choice? The power of choice, which is the superpower of being human. That is called the buddhi. And that buddhi is our Vijnanamaya Kosha. So a level of discernment. Last night, Rajiv ji asked me, what is the goal of yoga? And I said, it is Kaivalya. But for getting to Kaivalya, you have to develop what is called Viveka Khyati. That Viveka, which is the highest discernment, that Viveka will only come in the Vijnanamaya Kosha. The Manas does not have Viveka. The Manas does not have choice. But there's a part of us which can actually make a choice. To be or not to be, to do or not to do, to want or not to want, all of that. And that is the Vijnanamaya Kosha. Now, we used to call it the intellectual existence, but then intellectual becomes a bit, snobbish. And so I started to say it is our discerning existence. It is the existence which we have that gives us the power of choice. And when I mean power of choice, not just which soap you want to buy in the supermarket. Okay? We think choice is that, or whom to vote in the election. That's all very mundane level. I'm talking of choices, whether you want to be stuck in reflex living or reflective living. Moving from reflexive to reflective. From instinctive to intuitive. From reactionary to responsible. That is the choice we have to make as a human being. Then we become human. But then the biggest aspect of our existence is this universal existence, which connects us to each and every living being, not just on this planet, but in the whole universe. And that is called the Anandamaya Kosha. Because when you have a sense of connectivity, you are in Anandam. When we disconnect, we move from Anandam to Dukkha. When you are in tune, yesterday we demonstrated it for those who were not there. Sangeeta, can we have a sa.
Sa.
Sa. Okay? Again, can we try it?
Sa.
Sa. Sa. Again.
Sa.
Please understand what that is. When two beings can be in harmonious oneness, it is the Anandamaya Kosha functioning. When you can relate to others as if they are you. You know, Ramana Maharishi was one of the last truly realized beings on this planet. Seriously, amazing. When you think of Ramana, you think of that enlightenment. It's just amazing. My father used to take me, I don't know, dozens of times every year to Ramana Ashram. We would climb the mountain, Arunachala. I tell you, the feeling there is beyond words. Once Ramana was asked, Ramana had amazing statements. Of course, these are translated. He talked in Tamil, it's been translated, but they have done a good job in translation. It's not been lost. Someone asked, Ramana, how can I deal with others? How can I deal with others? And Ramana said, there are no others. That is Anandamaya Kosha existence. When there's no, remember yesterday I said, Dvitiyam se Bhayamata. From Dvitiyam, from duality comes fear. If I feel you are all one with me, I don't fear coming in here. But if I'm like, oh my God, I'm going into enemy territory, even before I go into the room, I've had a panic attack. And this is why the Anandamaya Kosha is not just conceptual. Today we are going to be working on that in the next session, in fact, where we are all going to start to sing together and we are going to find that resonance, which is where the Anandamaya becomes embodied experience. So, structural anatomical existence, physiological functional existence, a psychological mind existence, an intellectual choice discerning existence, and an existence that can see oneness in all beings. That is what we are. Now, this is a utopian oneness. Most of us, the last two sort of are so universal, you know, discernment and universality are quite universal, we cannot really damage them too much. But we end up damaging the first three. Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya are most of the time out of alignment. So imagine if all these koshas are aligned, you are in a state of health and wellness. But if your Annamaya kosha is here and the Pranamaya kosha here and the Manomaya kosha is someplace here, we don't have health and wellness. And this is why the question comes, mind-body disharmony, which is at the root of all non-communicable lifestyle disorders. They are not due to a new virus. They are not due to a mutant bacterial, series. They are because our mind and body are not communicating together. And so the split between the mind and the body is described, hold your breath, 5,000 years ago in the Yoga Vashishta, where sage Vashishta, who is the Kulaguru, teaches Lord Rama about what is called Adija Vyadhi, Anadija Vyadhi, the psychosomatic disorders and the non-psychosomatic disorders 5,000 years ago. It's only been the last 200 years that we in modern medicine have understood mind and body can impact each other. Not to say this is better, that is better. I'm just saying, we have lost such an important connection. Because if the mind wants to do and the body doesn't want to do, or the body wants to do and the mind doesn't want to do, you are like two people who hate each other to death, having to live in a single bedroom flat for the rest of your life. And that is what most people are. Because what has happened, there's this split. And it's like two pieces of Velcro pulling apart. You know how it is? It's not. It's that's how Velcro pulls apart. Try it out the next time with your Velcro. That is how most people's mind bodies are relating. An example, yes. We all know that it is good to eat in moderation. So the mind knows it's good to eat in moderation. We sit down and the taste buds say, I want more of that. Finished. The body knows that going out and exercising makes it feel good. And the mind says, no time today. Simple example. What happens is that this communication, how is it lost right from childhood? Because we are not taught to listen to ourselves. And this is why if you want to bring the mind and body together, remember mind I'm saying is the Manomaya Kosha. I'm using the body as Annamaya Kosha. What lies in between? Pranamaya Kosha. And this is why the breath becomes the mediator between these two partners. The breath unites the mind and body. And this is why now we are going to do a series of small stretches, small practices that we can do to align the mind and body using the breath. This is the root of lifestyle disorder. After that, whether it is cancer, whether it is diabetes, whether it is hypertension, whether it is coronary artery disease, whether it is irritable bowel syndrome, all that is secondary. That is just the final manifestation. That is just the presenting symptom. We call it in medicine, we say presenting symptom. What does the person come to you with? But what lies behind it? That is why in Tamil, we have Thiruvalluvar, who was given this amazing Thirukural. And he says, Noi Nadi, Noi Mudal Nadi. So, Noi means disease. Look for the disease. Noi Nadi, Noi Mudal. Mudal means the Adi. Look for the root cause. Noi Nadi, Noi Mudal Nadi, Adu Tanikkum Vai. Look at what is the methodology to address the root. Vaipa Chayal, and apply that remedy. Look at the disease, look at what is behind the disease, find the remedy for that root cause analysis, and apply it. Same thing Maharishi Patanjali has given us Heya, Hetu, Hana, Upaya. From the Yoga Sutras, there is a system. The Krishnamacharya Deshikacharya school calls it the Chatur Vyuha approach to Yoga Chikitsa. Heya. Heya is presenting symptom. Why has that person come to you? What is the problem? Hetu. What is the cause? What is lying behind it? Then Hana. Hana means what is the goal? In Yoga Chikitsa, there's a therapeutic relationship where is the shared goal setting. What does your client want? What do you want? What is your immediate goal? What is the intermediate goal? What is your long-term goal? That is the Hana. And Upaya, the tools. Which pranayama are you going to use? Which psychological aspect of yoga are you going to try to share with the individual to change the perspective? Because when you change your perspective, you change all. It's called psycho-neuro-endocrinology, psycho-neuro-immunology, psycho-dermatology, psycho-allology. Because everything is connected. And if you don't change what happens in here, it is like trying to plug a hole in a dam with tissue paper. That's actually what's happening. You have to find the hole in the dam. You have to strengthen the dam, not fill it with tissue paper. And that is why when we use yoga techniques like tissue paper filling the dam, I call it yogopathy. It's yogopathy. It is useful, but it is not yoga chikitsa. Because it is just saying you have hypertension, do left nostril breathing. You have sinusitis, do Brahmari. You have, lot of anxiety, lie down in Shavasana. That is applying yoga tools in a piecemeal approach for somebody else's diagnosis. Somebody diagnosed you as hypertension and you are giving a yoga tool. There is what is called a yoga diagnosis. One of my friends calls it yogognosis. But what we have in our tradition, and Shwetika made a beautiful PPT, it is online, on what we call Dvadasha Roga Lakshana Anukrama. 12 ways to analyze what is the manifestation of the disease in the individual. It looks at the gunas, looks at the doshas, looks at the prana, looks at the chakra, looks at the chetana, looks at your, diet, ahara. It looks at whether you have negative tendencies, viparita buddhi. We know vinashakale, viparita buddhi. It is not the vinashakale, viparita buddhi. Viparita buddhi leads you to vinashakale. That's actually, we have reversed it. Viparita buddhi leads you to vinashakale. Because what happens is you lose all control. So in order to gain control, what can we do? Well, Sangeeta is going to lead us in that.
Thank you.
I have presented the problem, now you'll present the solution.
So we will begin by standing up for those of you who can stand up. You can also come, be mindful of the cameras as were suggested earlier, but you can come a little bit more to the sides if you feel like the space you're in is not enough. So we'll begin by standing, and we're going to feel where the balance is on our feet. So generally we try to pull back, subconsciously we pull back a bit in our posture. So we want to have more presence in our feet, coming forward as if we were ready to sprint forward in life. Yeah? So let's go back and forward. Just see. Of course, some of you have shoes and some still. Now, don't make this simple exercise simplistic. Stay aware, because it's important to feel where is your balance. Is it forward? Is it back? Now, notice if you're holding your breath. And start to breathe a little bit more consciously. Now we're going to go right and left. Right and left. Just give your body a full massage, because you know that the soles of the feet contain all the terminal endings of all our nerves. So we can massage our whole body by moving the feet. And then we're going to go in a circle. See if you can circle on the feet, not so much the hips. We'll get there. So what this does, it gives us to start a sense of grounding, sense of remembering how we actually stand. So let's feel the sensation. Now from here, bend your knees slightly. If you can reach, place your hands on the knees and move the knees in circles. Now you will feel a stretch of the low back. This may result in you holding your breath. Try not to hold your breath. And then we're going to reverse the direction of the circle. Of course, there shouldn't be any pain. If you're feeling pain, you may want to come back up a bit. Okay? We continue the spiraling action by placing our hands on our hips in clockwise directions to begin. We're going to go forward, towards the right, towards the back, and towards the left. So I'm not mirroring you, be careful. Forward, right, where is your right side? Back,
Perfect.
left. Keep breathing. Forward, right, back, and left. Now let's see if we can make a circle. Good. Now try not to compare with what other people are doing, and especially do not judge yourself. This is a bit of an unusual. Okay, good. Now we're going to go opposite direction, forward, inhale, and then left. Nice stretch back, and right. Take your time, don't rush. Forward, left, back, and right. So you can also bring a smile to your face. I know this area holds a lot of trauma and stress. You should see your facial expressions from here. So because there are pictures being taken, for your own sake, I would recommend you bring a smile to your face. Good. Perfect. And make it a circle. Nice breath. Okay. Now, balance on your left leg. Left. Find your left leg and balance on it. And begin to swing your right. Gently. Yeah?
If you need to hold on to a chair or anything, please do so.
Yes.
It's nothing wrong in taking support. You could hold something like this or the chair.
And then we're swinging forward, front. So what helps also is that you find a point straight ahead in front of you rather than looking at the floor. The floor won't help with balance much. And then shake forward. Now open your mouth, inhale. Good. To the side. Good. And back. Wonderful. Now, standing samastiti, so hips width apart, hands forward. Just observe your right leg. Any tingling sensation, any feeling of warmth. Now place your hands on your hips or hold on to a chair. We're going to swing the left. So this concept of doing things with both feet, both arms, or alternating is also very, very important to gain more balance. There's a relationship between physical, emotional, mental, spiritual balance. So when we find ourselves not having a lot of balance, without judging, we also think, okay, where in my life I'm not very balanced and what could I do about it? Well, sometimes not much, but sometimes we can make choices. Okay, inhale, shake it. Good, to the side. Nice, and back. Very good. So then inhale up and exhale down. Good, and up and stretch up. And down. We're going to make this movement a little bit bigger if you can and want. Keep your eyes open, come up to your tiptoes. And out. The whooshing is so that you don't hold tension in the jaw. In, up. Keep your buttocks strong to protect your lower back. Out. And one more. In. And out. Now, catch hold of all the stress. Tight, 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 tight. And down.
Wow.
In.
Fluid.
And last one. Up. Good. Samastiti asana. Just observe what's happening. And again, notice where you're holding your balance. If you're going back, if you're coming a little bit forward. Come a little bit forward on the balance. Very nice. Open your eyes. Bring your hands up. Pinky, ring, middle, index, and thumb. Got it? Okay. So pinky down, pinky up. Pinky down, pinky up. Pinky down, pinky up. Ring down, up, down. Stretch it nicely and breathe. Down, yeah. Down and up, down and up, down and up. Index. These movements are so simple that are mistaken to be simplistic, but the health of our fingers, thumb up and down, is very important. Yeah, down and up. Now all the fingers, and then open, and then compress, and then open, and then compress, and open. Place the thumb inside the fingers and roll. Be careful, go slowly, because sometimes if you're not used to doing this movement, there could be a bit of toxins in the wrists. Could be intense. Okay, and then opposite direction. Very nice. And then shake your hands. So we've been doing this for a while. You can shake and catch hold of stuff. Let's call it stuff. It could be under your feet, this psychic stuff. It could also be behind your buttocks, lower back, tummy, under the armpits. You can feel it, yeah, like in the throat, stuff. And then catch and up. I don't know what's happening on the floor above us, but we will not ask. Okay, 2 more times. Now expand the movement. Be mindful of your neighbors, of course, but if you want, you can expand the movement. Ready, catch. And last one, in case there's some psychic residue somewhere. Go, 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 in. Very nice. Now, right hand comes up. The hand is active. And out, exhale. Do not lock your knees. Inhale, stretch up the right side. Exhale, the hand comes down. Inhale. Exhale. Good. Left hand, inhale. Stretch up. Exhale. Grounding everything with the palm down. Very good. Inhale, palm up. Receiving. Exhale. And incarnating. And then in. And out. Now, right hand comes up. Inhale. Place the left hand on your hip. Exhale over. Opposite side. Over. Yeah. Good job. Inhale up. And relax both hands down. 2 more times. In, up, over, in a diagonal. Diagonal stretch. In, up. Exhale, down. Keep your focus here. Don't get distracted. In, out. In, and out. Good. Straight ahead. Into the left. In. We come down first. Remember? And out. And then in. And out. And then in. And out. It becomes a dance. Now we're going to go over. In and over. Exhale. Inhale up. Exhale down. 2 more. Keep courage. In. Out. In. And out. And then in. Out, in, and out. Very good. Rolling the shoulders back. Walk around your spot. Just walk around the spot. Look at all the other people. Say hello. Smile.
Hello.
Walk around.
Hello.
You can say hello. Meet and greet.
Hi.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
Hello.
Good. Very nice. Good, good. So now we're going to bring our arms forward. Inhale, open at the chest. Exhale, close. Clasp your hands and pull down. Inhale, open, step by step. Exhale, open the back of the lungs. Inhale. Exhale. Last one, inhale. And exhale. Relax. Chin down, inhale. Chin up. Inhale here. Exhale, chin down. Inhale, chin up. Exhale here. And then lift your chin, inhale. Lower the chin, exhale. Lift, inhale. Lower, exhale. Inhale, look to the right. Find the right and then look to the right. Exhale, look all the way to the left. Good job. Inhale all the way to the right. Relax the lips. Don't hold the lips. Exhale to the left. Inhale right. Exhale left. Now making circles with the head. Good. And then other way around. And now the circle can involve your shoulders, and it can also involve your hips. So we're going to improvise a bit of a movement. Just let your body tell you where and how it wants to move, rather than imposing a sequence. Oh. Excuse me. Very nice. How are you feeling standing? Do you need to sit down? No. Perfect. This is creating a bit of
Static.
yeah. Wonderful. So from here, just shake a little, just to make sure. Again, walk around, say hello. Don't start a conversation. Just say hi. Okay, now Amaji used to teach us, though life is probably going to, pardon me, kick you in the butt. So why don't you just go ahead and do it for yourself? So you tell the universe, I got this. It's truly, she used to tell us, and we were like, oh. So this is how the kicking movement. Be careful, of course. We're just
Careful with the chairs, especially because the
Yeah.
chairs are there.
So exactly. So be careful. Yes. You can move to the side. Yes, exactly. You can move on one side and adjust. Kick it. Now mean it. What is this? Does the universe kick you? When the universe kick you, does it go like, ah? No. Kick it. Come on, come on. This is very good for varicose veins, by the way. Water retention, lymph retention in the legs, and all sorts of ladies' issues we'll see later, as like fatty tissue that doesn't move. So let's move it. Okay, a little faster if you can. Don't hold your breath. Good, done. Good. Shake your booty. Go ahead. Good. Faster. Inhale. Wow, okay, very, very good.
We saw that anxiety and stress stores itself in your abdominal area when it is performance related, relationship anxiety in the heart, and our status, positional, ego anxiety up here. And then we saw that the back of our brain, the brainstem has our survival mode. So it's all the me. And we wanted to move from surviving to thriving, which is the thee. So we had ha. So we were doing the ha. Then the ho. He. Me. And when you do the me, you should look very mean, okay? Me. And then thee. And then we say go. And we throw it all out, okay? Ready for this? Okay. Ha. Ho. He. Me. They. Go. Ha. Ho. He. Me. They. Go. Ha. Ho. He. Me. They. Go. Ha. Ho. He. Me. They. Go.
Go.
Ha. di, di, di. Go, 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 go. And now, if you sit down, you are just going to feel you are in bliss. Anandamayam. These are, as Sangeeta repeatedly was telling us, we always are looking for some complex methodology to solve our problems. Most of the time, something very simple will solve it. And with so many of the patients who come to me, what I find is they are dehydrated. Now, as a doctor, we are taught, look at the tongue, look at the eyes, look at the skin turgor. But that is when, the person's really in a crisis, you find those symptoms. So the person looks like it's okay. So I coined a term, subclinical dehydration. So it is not clinical dehydration, it is subclinical, like subclinical hypothyroidism. And what we find is, if you look at how much water intake people normally have, it will be about 1/3, if not 1/5 of what they should be taking per day. Remember, we are water beings. Right when we are in our mother's womb, we are surrounded by the amniotic fluid. That is what nourishes us for 9 months. And this is why my father used to say, whenever you go someplace, get into the water body of that place at the earliest. So if there's a lake, jump in the lake. If there's an ocean, go and swim in the ocean. If nothing is there, like in Delhi, go and take a bath in the bathroom. Okay, take a shower. See, the idea is, get your body fluids acclimatized with the fluid state of that area. And so what we have come upon is that again, you have to be careful when you talk to people. Because I know many people who tell the patient, you need to drink a lot of water. Now this word lot can mean anything. And so the person may end up drinking 20 liters of water in one day and end up with a kidney problem. So you don't want that. What we have found is about 2 liters is what we basically need for our day-to-day activities. And then people say, yes, Dr. Saab, I take 3 cups of tea, 4 cups of coffee. Does that count? I'm sorry, it doesn't count, because the coffee and the tea, though I also enjoy it, is going to create diuresis and you are going to lose more fluid. So they used to initially say, if you have a cup of coffee, take 2 cups of water. But now we realize if you take 1 cup of coffee, make sure you take 1 cup of water. At least that is to be maintained. And I have seen people who have lower back issues, neck issues, knee joint issues. These are the very basic ones. Chronic fatigue, digestive issues. Just by focusing on hydration, show at least 50% improvement in their health status. It's not about even the pranayama, it's not about the asana, it's not about the medicine, just the water. So I sometimes joke with my friends. One of them was here yesterday who spent 4.5 years with me as a roommate in medical school. I used to joke that it is good to give a lot of pills to the patient. Because with each pill, if they take a cup of water, they're going to get that much of hydration at least. This was a joke we had, but I would rather people could take the water. Because you say, yeah, when I feel thirsty, I take it. No. When you feel thirsty, you're already way, way, way dehydrated. Because it is only when you are very dehydrated, you feel thirsty. So I feel thirsty and I drink, so I'm fine. No. It is like, you should stop eating before you feel full. Because there's about 15-minute gap between the stomach and the brain. And so if you wait till you feel full, you have already overeaten by 15 minutes, whatever you did in 15 minutes. Good, bad, ugly, whatever it is. So coming back, when we talk about non-communicable disorders, when we talk about lifestyle disorders, there are 5 aspects to be considered from a yogic perspective. And most of you will already be aware of this. One is, what is it that you eat? Ahar. Because If you are eating unhealthy, there is no way you are going to be healthy. Simple. I want to high sucrose, sugar foods. I want the highest amount of fat in my food, but I want my blood vessels to be healthy. Not going to happen. Because especially the refined sugar is going to trigger the formation of plaques in your blood vessels. We know very well today, in fact, they call it the white poison, maida, white sugar, white rice. And the thing is that it triggers inflammation. So the root of all of these conditions is inflammation. And that inflammation is like an irritation. And that irritation then starts to build on it, and that becomes the pathology, depending on your genetic predisposition. So your father, your grandfather had diabetes. When the inflammation, irritation occurs, you start to have diabetes. Someone had cancer in the family history. When the inflammation, irritation comes, that cancer part is going to say, oh, now I found a new person. See, this is what's going to happen. So you cannot change your gene. I accept. You cannot change your father, you cannot change your mother, you cannot change your grandfather. But you can change the way the genes express. It is called epigenetics. And one of my professors of medicine, Dr. A.K. Das, a very amazing endocrinologist, he is now my dean of academics. He made a beautiful analogy. He said, genetics is like a loaded gun. Genetics, I don't know if I've been talking about guns today. Okay, anyway, I'll not talk about what I saw in the newspaper today, anyway, on the news. Genetics is like a loaded gun. Whether the gun goes off or not depends on you pulling the trigger. The gun is loaded. If you have a genetic predisposition, which I say is our sabija karma. Sabija karma, sanchita karma, sabija, the seed. What is seed? It is all our genetics. So the sabija karma is all that is already there. Whether your sabija karma is going to become prarabdha karma, whether it is going to manifest or not, depends on you pulling the trigger. So just because your father, your grandfather has diabetes, you don't have to have diabetes. But you are at a higher risk. So what does that mean? You start changing the way you eat. Find what are the foods. I'm not going to tell you this is the diet. I'm giving you a guideline. Depending on your need, you can modify that guideline. I'm not going to say eat chapati, eat dal. That's not my job. Find foods that are not going to create inflammation in your system. So what are the things that don't inflame? Inflammation is pitta. So what is the opposite of pitta? Kapha. What is kapha? Fruits. This is how you have to go up upon this. When we have a natural, and this is why in North America, raw food diet has become so strong. In fact, it is claimed now through a raw food diet, you can reverse diabetes. This is the level to which they are going. Vegetables, green vegetables. Once you cook them, it changes. Now, you will say, okay, I have my nice apple. Where did it come from? Brazil, South America. So the apple was plucked in South America, God knows when. Was stored for how long? God knows when. How long? Transported to India, we don't know how much time it took. How far it has been in the whole chain. By the time you get it in your supermarket, and then you keep it for another 2 weeks in your fridge, and then you eat that apple and say, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. That apple will make sure you're with the doctor every day. But you say, apples are good for you. Yeah, apples are good for you, but more than that, my father gave a very simple advice when it came to diet. He said, eat local, eat seasonal. That's all. So depending on where you live, eat local, find what is available locally. But no, I want that South American apple. I want the kiwi fruit all the way from New Zealand, because kiwi should be kiwi. What is seasonal? In winter, having a mango is not seasonal, okay? No, but my taste buds want. This is where that mind-body disconnect. Eat local, eat seasonal, eat fresh, eat uncooked as much as possible. But when it is uncooked, please make sure it is cleaned well. Otherwise, then you end up with infectious issues. We are then moving from non-communicable to communicable infectious disorder. So potassium permanganate is always good as at least an important measure. So ahar. Then achar. Now this word achar, I always say, it means, are you living as you are to live? That is actually how I perceive it. You are a human being. Are you living like a human being? You are in a certain position in society. Are you living that position in society as you are meant to live? When you are in tune with it, then the achar is okay. It is not just somebody's rules, which is often a way this is interpreted. Somebody has in Tamil we say acharam. Somebody put a rule and you follow it. I'm not talking about external rules. I'm talking about internal observances. That is why the yama niyama of yoga are not rules. I say they are not sticks to beat somebody else. They are yardsticks for your own spiritual progress. You apply the yama niyama on yourself, not, oh, you are not following the yama and you are not following the niyama and so you are going to go to hell. No. That's not what yama niyama are. That is why, are you living as you are to live? What I often bring into this is, what is your dharma at this stage in your life? What is your responsibility? If you are a student, make sure you are being the student that you can be. If you are a husband, be the husband you can be. If you are a wife, be the wife you can be. If you are a teacher, be the teacher you can be. If you are a doctor, be the doctor you can be. That is fulfilling yourself. And when you don't do that, you are creating a gap in which the disease process comes in. So one is your food, one is the way you live. Then, yes. From the Indian standpoint, it is actually very good. From the Indian standpoint, fermented food is good. But again, you have to be careful, because I know in Tamil Nadu, what many people do, they make the batter for the idli dosa and then it runs for 3 weeks. Now, that will create issue. Maximum 2-3 days is what it should last. But we don't have time, we have to go to work, we have to do, and so that is where then people start to say, oh, that may not be good. And again, it depends on the person's constitution. So when we talk about diet, these are general things. If somebody is kapha dosha predominant, diet should be different. Pitta dosha predominant will have different. So then we go into a whole aspect. So we have to look at that. The third part, which are what's going on in your head. Because if you keep on saying, I cannot, I cannot, I cannot, well, you cannot. I'm not going to make it, I'm not going to make it, I'm not going to make it. Yeah, congratulations. Your sankalpa has come true, you're not going to make it. See, the problem is we are constantly giving negative self-talk. Negative self-talk about ourselves, about our relationships, about our role in families and society. And that is why the Pratipaksha Bhavanam of Maharishi Patanjali, CBT or modern psychology, cognitive behavioral therapy. He says the moment you have a negative thought, he says replace it with a thought of the contrary nature. Now this is normally, in a very flowery language, they say, if you hate somebody, try to love them. This is very difficult, okay? I know people in my life who it is very difficult. But at least what I can do is stop thinking about them. So what I have devised for Pratipaksha Bhavanam is, I call it the stop formula. So the moment you have one of these negative thoughts, you just say, stop. And if possible, say it aloud. So, I'm driving my car, and how does the chitta vritti work? I'm driving the car and I'm like, what if I have an accident? This is how it starts, innocuous. The next question, what type of accident will it be? Will I hit a bus, or will I hit a lorry, or hit a cycle? The next one is, will my airbag work or not? If I have a crash, will I survive? If I survive, who will come to take me to the hospital? Which hospital? Not that hospital, please. We all have our. If I'm in hospital, who will come to see me with get well cards? I know that person, she will be so happy, she will not come. Kitna ho gaya hamara dimag mein? I have gone on this trip where I have actually created it, and then the accident happens because the universe says, you have been thinking about it in such detail, you must want it badly. Tadastu. And this is why the moment I have this, and I drive to work every day, and definitely I have these thoughts at least a couple of times a week, because there are a lot of accidents on that road. And the moment I say, will I have an accident, like, stop, and go on to something else. I tell my chitta vritti, I do not want to watch this movie. If you don't like the movie, come out of it. Stop watching it. People will sit and watch it and then complain. If you don't like it, stop it. Stop. And same thing. What if I fail? It's okay. Stop. Think about what I need to do right now. Don't think about will I pass, will I fail. That is secondary. What can I do right now? Focus in the now. This is another type of Pratipaksha Bhavanam. So it's not just this flowery, oh, if you hate somebody, love them, and it's okay. But what is practical? And with so many of my patients, they have found this so useful. They tell me, doctor, seriously, of everything you told me, this has been the biggest lifesaver for me. Because this is where the moment the thought comes, you stop it. Because if you don't stop it, that thought, which is part of your psyche, influences your nervous system through the limbic system. And the limbic system, I tell you, oh my God, it's called limbus because it's a circular. And I tell you, it keeps on going, oh my God, 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 oh my God. And it keeps on doing this vicious dance and goes faster and faster. When water goes round and round, it keeps on gaining power. And then the limbic system, your thoughts and emotions, they go like this. And in the middle of this poor limbic system is this poor hypothalamus. Surrounded by this whole thing which is going, and it's like, ah. And the hypothalamus secretes. Hypothalamus secretes, after that it's out of your control. Because once the hypothalamus secretes its releasing hormones, your pituitary has to do its job. Once your pituitary does its job, your adrenals have to secrete cortisol. And once this hypothalamus is out of control, the adrenaline is going to be secreted. Hypothalamo, pituitary, adrenal, which is the cortisol part, long stress, and hypothalamo, medullary, which is the adrenaline part. Quick stress, long stress. Two stresses. So once the hypothalamus is triggered, it is that dam burst filling with tissue paper. So where do you have to come in? That is where Pratipaksha Bhavanam as part of the Vichara training. That the moment you find this negative thought, a deviant thought, Patanjali calls them vitarka. Vitarka himsadaya krita karita anumodita lobha krodha moha purvaka mridu madhya adimatra dukkha ajnana anantapala iti Pratipaksha Bhavanam. That's, people say Yoga Sutras are short aphorisms. This was one sutra. Vitarka himsadaya krita karita anumodita lobha krodha moha purvaka mridu madhya adimatra dukkha ajnana anantapala iti Pratipaksha Bhavanam. Short? Definitely not short. But he's telling the moment the vitarka comes. So, diet, living in tune with the way you are to live, thinking. I'm not talking about positive thinking, because to try to be positive all the time is not possible. It's like that straight line. If your ECG is a straight line, you are dead. It should be up and down. So ups and downs are part of life. We accept them. When we are up, we realize this too shall pass. When we are down, we realize this too shall pass. And that's where balance comes. But then, Vihar, how do you relax? You ask most people, how do you relax? I watch a movie. Watching a movie will never relax you, because you are constantly caught up in it. The villain is going to shoot the hero and, oh my God, he doesn't know he's coming up. All your adrenaline is up. All your cortisol is up. And I don't even have to tell you the way people try to relax and what it does to their body systems. Can you have a positive, non-pharmacological, healthy mode of relaxation? Well, yoga gives us these techniques. There are lots of them. But then the last one, which is often neglected, vyavahar. How do you relate to others? Because if you don't have healthy relationships with those who are in your life, your mind and body are not going to be healthy. So as long as you're fighting with everybody, as long as you are, trying to find how to pull somebody's leg and cut off somebody's hand and, put their head down in the mud, as long as that is happening, you will not be at ease. And that is why this whole approach is what Yoga Chikitsa is about. Finding practices, finding concepts. You can see that I have not been talking about which pranayama or asana to do. You have to change the whole human existence, because lifestyle disorders can only be mitigated by lifestyle modification, and lifestyle is all these five. I'm going to stop there right now so that we have a few minutes for some questions. Yes, we have a question ready.
Is cancer part of a lifestyle?
Yeah, just.
Is cancer part of a lifestyle?
Definitely. Definitely. See, when we talk of cancer, what we have to realize is that it is easy to say, somebody working in a dye factory will get bladder cancer. This is how our textbooks talk about it. If you're exposed to radiation, you'll have certain cancers. Yeah. And you say, oh, it's because of that. But everybody who's in the dye factory doesn't get cancer. Everybody who's exposed to radiation doesn't get the cancer. And this is what Antonovsky, the father of salatogenesis, he looked at the Holocaust victims, and he found that there were 55% of the women who had gone through the Holocaust were depressed. But instead of looking at 55 were depressed, he said, why are 45 not depressed? They had the same experience of the Holocaust, they went through the same thing, and that is where he found that there are the inner factors that despite the external, predictors, can change what happens. So what I would say is that we may have genes that are more susceptible. Nowadays, I remember I was in Delhi 15 years ago for the yoga week, and a young man came to me after my talk. He said, Dr. Saab, my grandmother, I live in the USA, I'm a software engineer. My grandmother had a certain bowel cancer. The doctors have operated and removed the bowel cancer. And as they do in North America, they do a genetic screening of everybody in the family. And we call it preventive screening, which again, I don't know, but anyway. And they found that I have 90% chances of getting this in the future. So they have suggested I do a preventive surgery and remove that part of my bowel. Actual conversation, Satya. He said, what do you think? I said, well, if you eat the same food your grandmother was eating, if you think the same way she was thinking, if you live the same way she was living, not 90, 100% you will get the cancer. But if you change the way you think, if you change the way you eat, if you change the way you live, you do not have to get that cancer. So the impact of lifestyle is so strong, because we have found that, see, all of us right now in this room, there are cancer cells running around. There are potential, I'll put it this way, potential cancer cells running around, but your immune system is phagocytosing them. They are constantly being eaten up. Then what is it that lets them escape? When your immune system is not working properly. When does your immune system not work properly? When you are stressed. So we again come back to that. And this is why we used to talk about psychosomatic, non-psychosomatic. I really don't know if we have any non-psychosomatic disorders anymore. Because the influence of the mind in either creating the disorder, aggravating the disorder, or precipitating the disorder cannot be ruled out. And this is why a non-pharmacological mode of learning to relax, which is yoga, can be such a boon to modern medicine. I hope that answers something. Yes?
The last point that you mentioned in terms of relationships, right? I think most of us, when we think about ourselves, don't feel like we are trying to put someone down, but we feel someone else is doing that to us.
Exactly.
And when that happens, especially in the family setting between siblings,
True.
I have gone through a long period where there's been a lot of doubt, a lot of fear, a lot of stress on what the other person is going to do. And therefore, there's fear, which sometimes comes out as aggression, right? And I'm sure the other person might be seeing this the same way. Now, the point is, when this happens for a period of time, there are damages, inflammation, and so on and so forth, as you rightly said.
Yeah.
If that's what's happening, and I think that's true for a lot of us, is that reversible? And what do we do about this, basically?
Excellent. I just love that question because it is such a human predicament. If you're alive, you'll have problems. If you have a family, you'll have problems. If you don't have a family, you'll also have problems. So problems are going to be there anyway. Stresses are going to be there anyway. We are not the people to change others. Now, I think that is the first, we all want to have this sense of control. So we want to change others. We can only change ourselves. So how the other person thinks, how they behave, what they say, what they do is not in our control. I think this is the first acceptance we need to have because we want to have control over everything. But what can I control is my response to it. And this is where the concept of Pratipaksha Bhavanam is, I call it the dilution technique. Poison in a cup. Now I'm sure it's not there, but anyway. Poison in this cup would kill me. The same poison, if it was put into the water supply of Delhi, would have you all purified water. It won't kill anybody. In fact, it will kill all the germs and you will have wonderful water to drink. And if that same poison is put in the ocean, it makes no difference at all. So why does that poison put in a cup kill me? Because it is so concentrated. So when I am so caught on this illusion of control, the illusion that I'm going to do something and all, I am poisoning myself with the negativity. And this is where in yoga, a very important component is Ishvara Pranidhana, giving over to the universal will, which is not passive resignation, but active determination. Where I say, I cannot change the way that person thinks and behave, but can I change the way I respond? And if it is triggering me, can I move away from that relationship? Relationship doesn't have to always be hugging. Moving away is also a methodology of dealing with a relationship. And that is why Patanjali says, Maitri Karuna Muditopekshanam. He says, you should have that sense of Maitri, friendliness, towards those who are at ease. Good, be friendly with those who are at ease, it will catch on, it's contagious. When people are suffering, have compassion. Fine, good. When people are doing good work, support them, cheer them on. And when people are hell-bent on destroying their life and your life, move away, indifference. It is part of a choice. Because the more you are in it, the more you are going to get triggered. And once you are triggered, it's going to trigger the next person. So moving away from relationships, because I believe in the sanctity of relationships. But at the same time, many people have counseled that please you better separate. Because there's no way you both can be happy and healthy in this. So even someone who wants to have a harmony, sometimes I say the best way for harmony is for two people to separate. So that is also part of relationship. Yes. Yes, Ji.
Hello.
What are the positive, healthy ways of relaxation?
Yeah. One is just to move like we were doing this morning. At the end of what we did with Sangeeta, you sat down and you definitely had a sense of relaxation. So it is not just lying down is relaxation, these type of simple movements with the breath. Simple deep breathing, Sukha Pranayama, that we have been doing. Breathe in and breathe out for an equal count. Another very good practice is to lie down and focus on different parts of the body. People call it body scan, they call it progressive muscle relaxation. In our tradition, we call it Marmanastanam Kriya. There are 22 marmas that we try to focus on. Others call it Yoga Nidra. So many. In our tradition, we have a beautiful practice where you become aware of the golden prana coming through the body as you breathe in, and a cool, silvery, apanic energy up and out as you breathe out. And so you are harmonizing the prana and apana, which is the beautiful diametrically opposite energies like the ha and the ta. You are balancing it. These are excellent practices. So if you Google, I make a very simple suggestion, Google Bhavanani and yoga and relaxation, and I'm sure there are at least a dozen videos of me explaining and teaching practices, including a whiteboard where I talk about what are called the Jnana Yoga relaxation kriyas. So we have 3 of them, Anuloma Viloma we call it, but it's not the pranayama, it's a visualization which you do lying down. There's a pranayama called Savitri, where you breathe in for 6, hold for 3, out for 6, hold for 3. So it could be 8-4, 8-4, 10-5, 10-5, but it is this Savitri pranayama, right in our research in 81, we have shown can reduce the oxygen consumption by the cells more than double what happens with a good night's sleep. So, why do you sleep? To repair. So if you can do 10 minutes of Shavasana with Savitri pranayama, you can have that same impact of 8 hours of sleep, and your body can have that relaxation. So these are just a few. Yes, Ji.
I think we'll take the one last question.
Yeah, I'll be quick here.
Yeah.
It's actually a compliment and then a question,
Thank
so
you.
if you allow me.
Thank you.
One is that you are like a Pied Piper, you are making us dance, shout, rotate, Dr. Sangeeta. It's a hell of a lot of work, So we believe that it will be all right, it will cure us, and it will make a lot of change in our life, and
Yeah.
I believe it, and it's very good. So that I
Thank
thank
you.
you and Dr. Sangeeta.
Thank you.
See, on Ahar, Ahar we have a very serious problem.
Yeah.
Because we are grown up, and whatever mothers have given us to eat,
So true.
that's what we eat. And it's very difficult to give it up.
So
One.
true. So true.
The other is in the villages I have found people eating the same food,
Ah.
eating a lot of fat, eating a whole lot of things, and surviving for 100 years. In any case, whatever you eat,
So true.
ultimately one dies. You do all
Yeah.
yogas, everything. Ultimately you die. So the point is, what should be eaten, because experimentation goes on.
Ah.
Today you will tell me that you eat green vegetables. Tomorrow somebody will tell me, in egg is an example,
So
in which
true.
they said that the yellow portion, the protein is bad, and it can be cholesterol, and then they said it is good. So the question is, one should stick to his diet or keep on changing. That is one question. The other is that you said that fresh and seasonal fruits. Fresh fruits and seasonal fruits are all poison. Perhaps you don't know. A mango which we eat has a lot of injection and a whole lot of chemicals. A whole lot of vegetables have a whole lot of colors spread over it. So what should we do? It's a very difficult choice.
Well, I think the amount of poison in a pizza is more than that mango still. But, it's an amazing question you have asked, because I don't claim to have all the answers. That is one thing that I'm very clear about when I teach. I don't have all the answers, and I cannot fulfill 100% everybody's questions. That is part of it. And these type of questions are questions which are to be addressed by the larger humanity, that what have we done to the food? Because in our culture, food was medicine. And today, medicine has become food. We are eating more pills than we are eating food. That is actually reversed. So one thing is, yes, our mothers fed us something, our wives fed us something, but we can also bring about a change if we want to become healthy. Because the moment I say, no, I want to still eat that, but be healthy, that is not possible. So you cannot have your cake and eat it too, they say. The same type of issue here, that if you want to be healthy, you have to make changes. Because lifestyle disorders can only be tackled by lifestyle modification, and modification means a change. So what is within your reach? Now, one thing which we don't have in too many of our cities here is what the West has developed is people having their own kitchen garden. And I tell you that actually is ideal, because you know what is put into that vegetable. You have a tree. In my ashram, I have some mango trees. Those mangoes I know I can eat safely and they are not poison. But the moment I go to a supermarket, as you said, it is out of my jurisdiction. And like I was telling him with relationships, what others do is out of my jurisdiction. Some of that is out. But of the choices, of all the choices, which is the less dangerous one, which is the more healthy one, at least we can try to move towards that. That is the only suggestion I can give at this point. But problem, sir, with the cheapest is in India, Lay's chips are much cheaper than an apple. You know, we work with young kids, and when the kids come on weekends to class, we say, bring a healthy snack. And parents are like, what to send them? We say, you know, the different sprouted dal and all. And they don't have the time to do it. They don't have the energy to do it. So they give the kid 10 rupees. What do you get for 10 rupees in India? Lay's chips, kurkure, pure plastic. So the problem I have is that it should actually be the opposite. You know, the healthy food should be cheap, the unhealthy should be costly, but it is actually the opposite. And so, you know, it is nice to tell someone, eat healthy, and they say, where do I get money? Because if a worker is earning 100, 200 rupees per day, what is he going to spend it on? So, yes, these are questions which are for the greater humanity to answer.